evening and welcome to the Laughing Monkey Music Show. Welcome back, Michael. Been a few times. You've been very, very busy in the past year. Well, probably forever, but in this context, about a year of
I
music
like
and
I
recording.
like being busy. My mind, sometimes I feel like my mind works in ways that no one else's mind works in. I know that's not true. There's probably a lot of people like me. I have a very strange mind in the sense that it never feels finished. I could be in a project and not finished with that project yet, and
Hmm.
I'm already thinking about the next project.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about the next project. And it's just my mind just it doesn't stop. I wish it would sometimes, but it doesn't.
Yeah, but you think that, to me, I always feel like the journey of doing something you're doing something, you're like, yeah, I can't wait to get to the point. And then when you get to the point, you're like, yeah, you know what? I was kind of enjoying it early on in the journey. By you doing so many albums all the time, you're kind of always in the songwriting journey.
Always.
So it
I'm
kind of feels
literally
like you're always there in that
yeah,
sweet spot.
I literally am. And it's tricky because when I'm in a moment that I'm supposed to be devoting my attention and my time to the family or uh, you know to a loved one who's in the hospital or
Right.
I'm literally there with them talking to them, but so many times there's a song in my head humming and I'm balancing talking to this person and
Yeah.
writing a song. It's really it's a blessing and a curse. I've used that term before, but it really is because
Mm.
sometimes it upsets me. It's like, Michael, just stop, focus,
Yeah.
get out of your head, and I can't.
I guess if you can have an obsession type, compulsion type of thing, I guess that's you have to label it. It's not a bad one to have. There's so many other worse things to have.
Well, I just feel personally the way I view it, I feel like God's put an eternal song in my head.
Okay.
Like there's just always a song, a melody, a riff going on in my head. And that's the way my mind thinks. Like, hey, let's do something really cool. Hey, let's go bigger and better this time around. And I'm always thinking like that. And I guess I will till I take my last breath. And hopefully that's what makes me who I am. It makes me a little different. I don't know if it makes me special, but it definitely makes me different. That's for sure.
Well, I think, always try and do something better and improve and having something you love, a passion like this. I mean, that's what life is about. I mean, and I think to not have that feeling, you're almost sort of dead inside.
Yeah.
So if you don't have that extra, I'm always thinking a different way. I mean, I'm on a spectrum, so I'm always thinking of five different things ahead too. But
Yep.
I mean, everyone has different levels of where they're at in life. But so let's actually hop in. So this got a Christmas album out.
Yep.
Now, we spoke a few times, like literally recently. You had just done We Were Kings, 40th anniversary, How with the Amps. Um, there's not enough time for me to just even say all the things we've done, just telling you. But let's talk about the new Christmas album. I think November 21st, I think it's coming out.
November 21st,
Yeah.
Christmas album. It's called The Greatest Gift of All. There's 5 traditionals, there's 5 originals.
Hmm.
And one of those originals is a remake of Winter Wonderland, excuse me, of Reason for the Season.
Yeah.
And one of the 5 traditionals is a remake of Winter Wonderland. And we've always wanted to make a Christmas album. We finally did, thank God. We've talked about it for 40 years. So we made it become reality. We just said, let's do it. And we did. And, you know, on the heels of this, by probably January, we'll be announcing and maybe releasing the first single from a solo album that's coming. And that's called The Master Plan.
Is it going to be heavier or softer?
Not heavier. It's not a hard rock album. It's not a metal album. It's more of a throwback. It's kind of an eclectic mix of my 60s and 70s roots
Okay.
with a little 80s and 90s mixed in there.
Because if I'm not mistaken, aren't you more contemporary? Some of your earlier solo stuff is more contemporary.
Yeah, there's no chuggy heavy guitars. There's
Right.
no bashing heavy drums. There's drums. I'm doing all the guitars on it. There's a full band, but it's just really cool, man. You have to hear it to understand what I'm saying. It's unlike any album I've ever done. And I am really excited about it. And I think it's a killer album. The tough part is convincing the metalheads of that, and I might not convince them of that because it's metal till you die mentality. But man, if you like some of those great bands from the 70s, like Ambrosia or the Eagles or, oh gosh, there's so many bands. You're going to love this album.
Well, I'm interested in hearing it. I mean, who knows? I may end up getting it in my mailbox sooner than later. We'll be talking in a few months, very
Man,
shortly.
it's cool. It's a really cool album. And basically I made it. I wrote the songs during COVID. And they just started flowing out of me. And it was boom, 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 boom. And hooked up with a guy named Jeff Savage in Nashville. And we worked together on it. And we made a really cool, unique, original. It has its own signature. It's not an album where anyone will say, it sounds like Stryper. It doesn't sound like Stryper. It doesn't even sound like Michael Sweet.
Well, that'd be different because, I mean, don't forget, I mean, you've done, I was going to forget, but with Sunbomb, you've done so many other projects. With Lynch, I mean, your voice still is, it sounds like you are the voice of Stryper. The only time I think I hear your voice prior, maybe to the solo album, when I heard your voice is when you did some work with Boston, which is out of the box awesome. That was a great, to stand in and do that and do it so well and to retain you, but not also sound like carry over sound. You kind of honored Boston was in the pocket. That was just,
you know what?
Add that in there. That
Look,
was such a big cover.
I'd be a liar if I didn't say that I was scared to death. I was. In other words, you know, the first album I ever bought was Boston, and that was a huge influence on me and shaped me as a musician. That mostly, and the first Van Halen album, those two albums, and maybe Priest Unleashed in the East. Those three albums really shaped me.
Guitar, melodies, harmonies, and all of them.
100%. And the Boston, I wanted to fast forward to 2007 and get a call from Tom Scholes asking me to come and join them on what was going to be their last show. I you know, half of me wanted to do it and was super excited about it, and the other half was scared to death. I was like, oh my God, this is Boston. This is no joke. And Tom just let me do my thing. And that was the beauty of it. I'll never sound like Brad Delp. There might be, you know,
but there's something different about the way you sang it. Like, I wouldn't have thought, who are we going to have sing for the tour? Like, I would have thought of you.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have thought about that. But man, it was brilliant because it didn't sound like, it sounded like you, but not like you. Like, I would have envisioned that. And like, I don't know, you know, when it came to the table, it was such a good idea because it worked.
Hey, I was just honored. And I think Tom wound up going out and purchasing some music and really liking it, Stryper music. And he called me and said he was really impressed. And I mean, coming from Tom, that's saying a lot. And he invited me to come and sing, and I did. And then they asked me to join the band because it went so well and they loved it so much. So I got to tour in 2008 with them. And that was a very bittersweet time in my life, you know, because I was touring with Boston, a highlight musically in my life. But my wife was also sick with cancer, which was one of the lowest points of our lives, you know. So it was just very, very strange.
You know, I'm sorry about that. I mean, you don't usually recover from that effect in your life.
It was strange. It was strange going out on stage and celebrating Boston and the life of Brad Delp every night, but yet at the same time knowing, you know, what was going on back home. So yeah, it was just a very bittersweet, unusual moment in my life. But anyway, here I am, and I'm still doing it, and I'm going to keep doing it until I can't do it any longer. And we'll see how much I can get out. So
one of the questions I do have is, because so you're writing, because you're such a multi-faceted songwriter, instrumentalist, and I get the feeling you write, at this point you probably you can do almost all the Stryper stuff yourself and demo it out in the studio. So at a point, like, to separate yourself, like talk about the Boston, the voice, clearly they heard the tone in your voice could do a little different too. But from doing your solo stuff, not get mixed in like Sunbomb or Sweet Lynch, doing Stryper, and then you writing everything, bleeding over into everything to a point where each stuff is almost the same.
Yep.
That's the challenge I'm saying for you. So how are you approaching it by saying, I'll do this much as Stryper, but then I need, you know, Robert to come and do drums on this part and this continue. Like, where are you breaking things up? Because
I don't really. I mean, the way I do an album is, you know, the minute I'm told and given the green light, go do it. I get so self-absorbed, you know. I go into my own world, And that's not necessarily a good thing, but like I will lock myself in my studio for
Right.
2 weeks and not come
Yeah.
out. And I'll shower, come out the shower and
Eat.
use the bathroom and eat and say hi to my wife. And, but I'll lock myself in a room every day until it's done. And it's just the way I work. Um, but man, I'm always trying to just write from the heart. And if I'm tapping my foot and
Yeah.
humming along and feeling it, then I run with that. I don't like, demo stuff. I don't play it for people and say, hey, what do you think? And then they say,
Oh,
oh,
really?
you could do this better. And okay, I'll go back in and make that better. That's not how it's done. We don't do demos ever.
Okay. Are you looking back at some of the stuff you do and going like, oh, I could have tweaked it,
On
like
rare
like a forest through the
occasion.
trees type of thing?
Yeah, it's simple little things that probably most people wouldn't agree with tweaking. You know what I mean? Like little things that I hear that most people probably don't. But no, man, I'm really pleased with where Stryper is right now. We're basically a different band. We're not the
Yeah.
same band.
Well, I think you got recharged with a new member. I think it's been a healthy change.
That too. That's an absolutely true statement.
I'm
Perry,
and I'm focusing on the positive change.
no,
I'm not talking about the negative part of it. The positive, so Perry coming in, I think it's been some good positive energy.
no, you're 100% correct. And Perry's great, great attitude, personality, great
Good fit.
vocalist,
Good
great
fit.
bass player. Yeah, he's a pro. He's a seasoned pro, and he's
Yeah.
awesome, and he fits us perfectly.
Mhm. So let's talk a little bit about the album. So with this, the Holly album, I mean, I guess after all these years, 40 years now, you finally have it. Because the other thing was it was an EP, a couple two songs on it before, like in the early days. The production on this album, once again, it was all you, right?
Yeah, I've been producing every album
Okay.
for a long time, and even going back in the old days, man. I got to say this, and whether people believe this or not, and that's fine, whatever. You have that option. Uh, I was co-producing at the very least all of the old albums. I mean,
Mhm.
what I mean by that is the producers didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
The songs were all written, the parts were all, for the most part, worked out, and we literally all they did was just press record and then mix it. So we were very hands on the early albums as
Yeah.
well, and I think any producer we worked with would say the same thing.
I think the only thing the difference I would say sonically wise for you guys is, and I've enjoyed now, I joking with you, the second coming of you is the more raw sound because it's played more of the tone of your guitar and your voice. After To Hell with the Devil, the other album after that, it was so clean sounding.
Yeah, yeah,
And to me, it felt like it was losing the soul of your voice.
yeah, yeah. In God We Trust. A couple of things happened with that
Right.
album. Number one, we got a little more.
And there were some good songs in there too. I do want to say that too. There were good songs in there. It just felt something was missing.
Oh yeah, no. There's a couple of my favorite Stryper songs of all time on that album. I love Lonely.
Yep.
That's probably one of my favorite Stryper ballads ever. I love The Writings on the Wall. Another favorite of mine. The thing is about that album is we were, I think, striving for perfection so much so that we were trying to make everything perfect. And that album really exemplifies that. Everything's just perfect. And
It
it
does.
lost its rawness and almost its human feel. It almost sounds like a machine.
It does. And in fairness, that people aren't aware of it age wise, it fit in with the time because a lot of music and production was going that way. So it wasn't like it was out of spot
No,
of where it
totally.
belonged. But for somebody who'd been listening to some of the earlier albums and then went to that album, one thing that made Stryper special was it didn't sound like those other bands, and it always allowed the rawness of your voice and the tone, those
Yep,
frequencies, to always poke through without
totally.
being polished up. And
Yeah,
that is what kind of got shined down a little bit. Maybe
no,
sonically
totally.
even evened out. Maybe I don't know what it was.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And you know what's interesting though? Some stats that are kind of interesting. I agree with you 100%. But the
You should
majority
remix it.
the majority of Stryper fans probably don't agree with us because I'll just tell you why. To Hell with the Devil was multi-platinum.
Mhm.
In God We Trust was multi-platinum. and Soldiers wasn't. Soldiers went gold. That's my favorite Stryper album,
Yeah.
classic. And then Against the Law, completely, which a lot of fans really get up in arms about and say, that's your best album, your best album. It bombed. It didn't even go gold.
I actually enjoyed it myself.
No, I know. And a lot of fans do. A lot of fans do. But again, numbers don't lie. The majority of the fans, I don't think, really understood that album.
Right. I would just go for recording. So to me, I listen to things, you know, my ears are a little bit different when I listen to a recording. So that's why I'm talking about the quality of the songs, not even questioning the quality of the songs. It's more about the recordings and what's coming out of them, what's getting pulled out of them. That's what, you know, I'm talking about with you is that. And what I've always loved, and I would love to see at some point, was your brother's drumming. You really capture him really good. You do a good job of capturing him, heavy hitting. I'd love to see him do more drumming. I'm surprised you guys haven't done like a brothers album together yet, really showcasing his drumming.
Yeah,
You know?
we haven't, but I thought about that. What I wanted to do, and I'd love to do it in the future, near future, is a Rocks Regime
Oh
album.
yeah.
And it just be me, Robert, and a bass player.
Nice.
Maybe even Eric Johnson, the original bass player.
Wow.
But make a Rocks Regime album. And there's a bunch of old songs. A song called Stranded, a song called Girls Are Like Toys. Probably have to change the title of that one. And
you should leave it and shake things up some more. It's been a while.
There's a bunch of old songs. I've got demos of them that didn't even have names, that were written during the Rocks Regime days. And that's what we would do, and then add a few new songs. But it's a different style.
It is. I would love to see. I like Robert's playing a lot, is what it is. You know, and it really comes down. I'd love to see him a little more in a spotlight, just in general as a musician. Not to talk about even the band, just to put more light in that guy, because he's such a good drummer. And I don't think he gets enough credit because he gets pushed aside because of the label, the band, which gets a lot of eyes to not really pay attention to the quality of the drummer he is. You know. And the production, I think, shows how good a drummer he is. I just don't think it's ever got that thing. I mean, nowadays it's even harder because the industry's different. But
the thing is,
I'd love to see that.
Here's what I do. I use a drum program called Easy Drummer. And you're able to tap in a groove, a 1 or 2 bar groove, you bring that over and, you know, pull from all these intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, fill, outro, end. Pull from all those, okay? And create a song. And then I go in and I tweak. Instead a kick pattern that I add which is more Robert's style. I'll add extra kicks. And then I do some stuff on Easy Drummer. When I send it to Robert, Robert's like, "Oh man, that's not really my style." And that I don't know if I can pull that off. And you know what? He always pulls it off. But I'm always pushing Rob to go one step further. The problem is some of these songs are difficult to pull off live. Like Take It to the Cross, for example. That's one of those songs. That's not really his style. So it's always a little bit of a scary moment when I say, "Hey, let's do that one tonight." Robert gives me that deer in the headlights look, you know.
Are you doing sometimes coming up letting him do, because you're creating the whole thing, because obviously you're hearing the whole composition in your head and you're just kind of vomiting it out as fast as you can because you've got so much going on at this point. It's not even transcribing it. So you're not really, because you don't do demos. What about with Robert sitting down, adding his drums to change the flavor? How much do you think it would change if, like you said, here's my riff, here's what I'm thinking, basic whatever, and he's like, here's what I'm hearing for drums, and you get a middle point? Would that be a big difference sonically, do you think?
Well, I mean, here's the way it works. So I'll record the Easy Drummer song along with my guitar on my iPhone, and I send that to the guys, and that's what they live with for a month. I just sent out 10 songs 2 days ago to everyone. We start recording on December 29th, so they'll have roughly, you know, a little over.
Is for your solo album or for another Stryper?
No, Stryper album.
Oh, so you have another Stryper album too done?
Yeah, we start work on that in December, end of December.
Okay, wow. Cause I'm still thinking you still have to get your solo thing out though. you just told me that 10 minutes ago. Okay, so
I don't know what to tell you, man. It's if the label wants it and they can put us in a studio, man, we're doing it. And so the guys will live with that for a few months. And then when we get into there, we're going to do things differently. We're going to print, click, track, easy drummer, stereo mix, cues, 1, 2, 3, 4, verse. I do that for Robert. And then I'm going to print keeper guitars of mine, 2 rhythms. Then Robert's going to come in after 3 days of that with me and track his drums to me.
Okay.
We've never done it like that before.
I'm interested to see how that comes out then, because I think the wiggle room could be interesting with him. I think.
Yeah, and Robert, and the way it is when we're in the studio, there's a fill on the drum machine, like, and Robert wants to do something different, like, and it sounds good. I say, dude, that's awesome. So he throws in his own stuff all the time.
Right.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
But I'm saying if he's coming in, he's probably thinking to please you and keep with the context of the song, because it is always serve the song. He's focused on that. If he's coming in here as being part of the creation of the song, that's a different mindset as a musician. So
Absolutely.
I think that I would think as a musician also that makes it more exciting for other band members to come in and have the freedom to put it in. Even if it doesn't change it, you still need a captain steering the ship.
Yep.
But everyone still needs to throw their stuff in and feel like they're part of the program. And otherwise they're just foot soldiers.
Of course. Absolutely. And that I'm sure all musicians feel that way sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, I've made albums where they're just like, play this. I'm like, okay, and I play that, and there you go.
Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's
that's
what you want. You just want to come in, do your thing, and leave.
We've all done it. Right. But I'm always there with all the guys, and I have to be, because I'm kind of the one who hears everything in my head. They don't.
Yeah.
I hear all the melodies in my head. I'm not sending them melodies, so they don't know what the song really is like. Yeah. But when they're there recording, I'm right there sitting next to them, and they'll track, and then I'll say, hold on, Danny, the engineer. He'll stop and I'll say, hey, man, let's try this. Perry, do this. Why don't you go up higher on the neck right there and do a little riff? And he's like, oh, really? And I'm like, yeah, try it. And he does it, and then we all look at each other and go, oh, man, that works. That's cool. So
excellent, yeah.
We're all working together and just trying to achieve and get the best that we can get.
Well, so thank you. It's always interesting because you do so much, because that's the weird world you're in, because you create so much stuff on your own to add other people in. Of course, you want to do that, but you also have so much stuff coming out of you on so many levels.
Exactly.
To find that balance. So, I mean, to keep honor with your schedule here, let's just say this. So, people, November 21st, the Christmas album. I've heard it. It's good. And I'm not a big fan of Christmas music, to be honest with you. Not a Scrooge. Christmas songs I'd rather rock out. But it's actually a rock album. It really is.
It is. It's a rock album.
It's a rock album. It falls like if you like Reason for the Season, you're gonna like this album. The new single's out already. It's good. It's a good album. And like I said, the production's good. And then we say January, we're expecting your solo. Right?
Well, probably the first single. Right, the album itself, I think, is coming out in April. But the first single, January or February. Yes.
So it's first quarter release on that one. Okay. Then you just shared also. Stryper, so probably looking what, second quarter then to just break it up.
Probably. That'll probably be, I'm guessing maybe the fourth quarter, like probably more like October, like this time next year. Yeah, because we turn it in April, and they always want at least 4 months minimum to set it up.
You're gonna have 3 albums done by then. That's gonna be so old. It's gonna be like an old album by you. It'll be a classic.
It's crazy.
And then a ton of other albums
coming out next year.
Yeah. There you go. That's insane. The last thing I was going to ask you was your flyer mentioned Kickstarter for you doing like a documentary. Do you want to just quickly talk about that?
Yeah, we got a documentary we've been working on. It's slowed up a little bit because of finances. Money goes fast, and we're interviewing a lot of people, flying people to interview, all this stuff, and it really is insane. But we're working hard on it. It's coming, and we appreciate everybody's patience, but we have not put that on a shelf. It's coming, and that's going to be really maybe the highlight of our careers.
Yeah, I'll put the link there so people, you can get part of the Kickstarter, help financially fund it. You want to see it, you can help move it along, and Kickstarter's always got perks to it. So.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing, man. And we're super excited about that. We'll keep everyone posted on that once we get a little closer to seeing it come to fruition and being complete.
Excellent. Well, Michael, I want to thank you. Hopefully we'll talk again real soon, and talking to me from your witness relocation safe house. Um,
I know, man. I feel like I'm in a cell right here. This is where I always film everything, and
I know you. Oh, see, it's a curtain. I thought it was like
it's
a,
a curtain.
singing. I thought it was a room.
If you
Yeah.
see back there,
Yeah.
I don't know if
Okay.
you can see that.
Yeah.
I've
I'll
got
probably.
I've got lots of guitars back there,
Oh.
all
Yeah.
kinds of fun stuff.
See, the illusion to me was you were like in a booth. You were in a vocal booth. The angle looked like so. Don't look behind the curtains. All right. People, check out the album. Check out all the albums. And there'll probably be more before we talk again. As always, Michael. Thank you for being on the show.
God bless you, buddy. Great to talk
Thank
to you,
you.
man. Have a great
Right.
one.
Great. Okay. Bye.
See you, man.
Bye.